Hello, good evening and welcome to Business Live. Coming up in this bulletin, government warns it may revoke the licenses of some mobile money operators and electronic money issuers if they fail to implement effective measures to protect customers from fraud.
If we are able to establish that there's been negligence on the part of any of those companies, we stand to reason to say that we can even instruct the Bank of Ghana to withdraw their license.
How feasible is this move? We will be live with the Telecoms Chamber. Also in this bulletin, oil marketing firms commences reduction in prices of petroleum products at the pumps. But why are some major oil marketers delaying with the adjustments? We shall be finding out. Plus, healing at the speed of a click. Today on the Joy Business Van, we'll tell you about healthcare startup Nkomo's digital care revolution. We have details of this and more lined up for you. Please stay on. Grateful you could join me. I am Pius Kojobaka, and looking at our stories. President John Mahama has announced that government will deploy the 1 million coders program to all metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies to provide equal economic opportunities to all Ghanaians. The program is aimed at providing digital tools to the youth to develop their capabilities in ICT for economic growth. Now, speaking at the launch, President Mahama said the program will facilitate job creation and economic growth.
Coding skills will enable our youth to create apps, to launch startups, develop digital solutions to our local problems, whether in agriculture, in healthcare, education, or governance. In this digital era, one idea can transform an entire community, and one startup can create hundreds of jobs. The third point, education and lifelong learning. Through the OMCP, we're not only skilling our youth, we're reshaping our national approach to learning. The Honorable Minister for Communications is already working closely with the Minister of Education to integrate digital literacy and coding into our university and technical school curricula. The aim of this is clear, is to make digital education not just a short-term initiative, but a permanent strategic part of our educational system. The fourth point, inclusion. Digital transformation must not leave anyone behind. And that is why this OMCP program places a strong emphasis on equity, ensuring access for rural communities, for women, and for persons with disability, and others who are often left on the periphery. The first cohort of 560 trainees launching today in Accra, Kumasi, Sunyani, and Bolgatanga already reflects our commitment to gender balance and regional inclusivity.
Meanwhile, the Minister for Communications, Samuel Nartey George, has disclosed that even though government intended to enroll 520 people on its 1 million coders program for the pilot phase, over 90,000 people applied for the program before the launch today.
Mr. President, we planned to do the pilot with 260 students. But within the first 4 hours of announcing, we had over 4,000 applications. We decided to do a double track and do 520. As at this morning, about 30 minutes ago, the number of applications we have received is 91,847 applications. This speaks to the visionary nature of your plan and vision to transform our digital ecosystem. All the courses published for this program will have fundamentals of coding embedded in the course delivery. There will also be elective coding courses to be run as part of the entire program, and all the courses will be run simultaneously in all the regions. This initiative is a strategic investment in our youth, empowering them with in-demand digital skills that align with the jobs to be created under the 24-hour economy policy. Ghana faces a youth unemployment rate of over 12%, and yet the digital economy is projected to create millions of new jobs across Africa by 2030. By partnering with the private sector, we're not only expanding access to opportunity, but also ensuring relevance.
We want to stay a while longer with Sam George because he has revealed that government may be forced to revoke the licenses of some mobile money operators and electronic money issuers if they fail to implement effective measures to protect customers from fraud. The move follows a surge in fraud-related incidents that have led to significant financial losses for subscribers. Minister for Communications, Digital Technology and Innovation, Sam George, made this known on PM Express.
The ministry is going to take a very strong view of customer protection on the companies that are operating in that sector.
What would it look like when you say strong position? What does it look like?
If we're able to establish that there's been negligence on the part of any of those companies, we stand to reason to say that we can even instruct the Bank of Ghana to withdraw their license. Because you see, one of the critical keys for issuance of an EMI license is protection of the customer. And so if the allegations we are hearing are proving to be true, and again, it's a big if, because in one of the instances, I have seen one of the persons who complained that her money was taken without her giving her PIN to anybody, do a retraction now to say that she was asked to verify her PIN and she entered it. There's social engineering fraud going on at the moment. And so, but again, the mobile money, the EMIs, have a responsibility to intensify their public engagements and public sensitization engagements. They have a responsibility to the Ghanaian people to determine for us or educate the public on what the right steps are relative to protection of your wallet.
All right, so let's bring in the views of the Chamber of Telecommunications. Its Chief Executive, Engineer Dr. Ken Ashigbe, joins us via Zoom for a conversation on the back of this. Pleasure you could join me, sir, on Business Live. From your perspective of electronic money issuers, I bet you are worried about these fraud cases that are coming up.
Well, thank you very much. So I'm pretty sure today I'm speaking as the CEO of the EMI's Chamber of Ghana, who are the operators of mobile money. And so the issues of fraud predate even the mobile money, the EMI's Chamber. As the Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications, we have been engaged in fraud education for a very long time. I am pretty sure, multimedia yourselves, there are various adverts that you have heard where some of them said, "Don't be a mugu," where you're talking about people not sharing their pins. If you take, when we were Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications and the EMIs were embedded in us, we had created a fraud control dashboard where when fraud happens, we are able to block people, the SIMs, be able to block devices and even blacklist the IDs. And so it is something that it's of major worry to us. There's some latest research that has been done by the University of Ghana, ISA, and the ReFind. And all of this, and including what Bank of Ghana does about the fact that the issues around fraud, which again, fraud is always around money. Anywhere there is money, you will find fraud happening. So now that a lot of the money is moving to the digital platforms, you see fraud happening. So whether it is internet banking, whether it's mobile money, you are seeing that happen. And it is happening on, on the global scale, both here and in other countries. And so it is something that we keep on investing a lot of money in. I'm sure you would have seen that there's a lot of skits that we have done as the chamber, our members have done. The good thing about it, and again, when the minister talks about if they find, the minister would not be able to establish that any of the EMIs have had a system that does not protect, subscribers. So in terms of the robustness of the EMI platforms, it's very, very robust. The challenge we have had is the challenge of social engineering. So in terms of the engagements that we do, those are things that we do. Again, then the minister himself has come up with a very fundamental policy initiative, the SIM registration. The reason why we're doing SIM registration is because the SIM registration was not complete. And so it did not result in a very secured SIM registry database that would have prevented it. It is the reason why, under the leadership of the minister, we are going to do another registration of a sort. So for us and so definitely the minister would not find not even one. And, this is something that, and again, EMIs fall under the purview of the Bank of Ghana. And there's been a lot of work between the industry and Bank of Ghana to try and address the issues of the fraud. There's even collaborative effort between the EMIs chamber and the Ghana Association of Banks, so that we can all work together and make sure we clamp it. So definitely we would push for a lot of education. But the interesting thing, and that's what we all need to live up with, is the fact that Ghanaians as well, we are so welcoming, and that sometimes we let our guards down. And our cyber hygiene itself is really very low. And so, you keep on telling people, don't share your PIN. But again, another thing that is happening is that the fraudsters are evolving. So as Chinua Achebe would say, when the hunter learns to shoot without missing, the birds learn to fly without perching. And that's what is happening.
All right.
So you are finding out that the modus operandi of these
Miscreants.
The modus of
Sincere apologies, it seems we've lost Gina Ken Ashigbe, the Chief Executive of the Chamber of Telecommunications, making that point for us. As and when we do get him, we shall bring him on stream to speak to us on the subject matter. But let's shift focus to some other stories. Some oil marketing firms have started reducing prices of petroleum products at the pumps. The latest firms to do this are major players like Star Oil and Zen Petroleum. More in this report.
Oil, which currently occupies the number 2 slot, has dropped at prices effective this morning, selling a litre of petrol at 13 cedis, 87 pesos per litre, while diesel is going for 14 cedis, 77 pesos. Zen Petroleum has also reduced the price of petrol and it's selling a litre at 13 cedis, 69 pesos. Diesel, on the other hand, is going for 14 cedis, 74 pesos. More oil marketing companies are expected to adjust their prices later this evening. Many will be looking forward to the margin reduction for the other oil marketing firms in the country that are yet to review their prices at the pumps. Some industry persons, on the other hand, have raised concerns about the margin of reduction. They argue that, looking at the current development on the international market, we should have witnessed a larger reduction in the price per litre at the pumps. This is the 5th consecutive decline in price of petroleum products at the pumps since February this year.
And I want to hear from COPEC now. Its Executive Secretary, Duncan Amoah, joins us live for a conversation on this as well. Duncan, thanks so much for joining me. Now, we understand prices should have gone down more than the projection. What is COPEC's view on this?
Thank you, Pius, and thank you for having me. I don't see how prices could have gone lower than it did. If you take international market price movements, IMPs, what you are seeing for petrol or PMS for this window is an increase of $4 a metric. Diesel witnessed about $25 decline. LPG witnessed about $52 decline per metric. And so one would expect that naturally some of the numbers you did indicate could have been a bit heavier, but then petrol could have equally gone up. But then if you you span the OMCs that have now done any reductions, you would realize that they've reduced for all three products, petrol, diesel, and LPG, that probably should see the highest leap. It's also going down if you speak to the LPG marketing companies. Pius, I think that for this window, what we have recorded so far with the market, we are confident and satisfied that the numbers do seem reflective of what the market should do.
Absolutely.
We could have seen a more drastic decline in, say, diesel, whilst you would probably have petrol go up. But if they decided to do for both, it means that there's some cross pricing situation happening where not only one segment of the market will benefit, but everybody gets a share of the reduction. That for us is quite satisfactory.
And we understand LPG will also go down, like you've rightly mentioned. That's good news for us, since COPEC has been advocating the scrapping of taxes on the petroleum products, right?
Indeed, LPG is one product that you wonder why we even continue to price according to international benchmarks, considering that we have an indigenous gas processor. You recall before we did the Jubilee Phase 1, Phase 2, we were simply flaring gas, dumping it into the atmosphere. So you put in a train that comes to do a processor, and you would expect that LPG prices would have been affected positively. Unfortunately, the prices we get from Tuabo now with what you would import, they are neck to neck most of the time. And I do think that indeed, some peculiar attention would need to be paid to LPG. You talk to the marketers and they are quite certain that government should look at reviewing the taxes on LPG to make the product a lot more affordable. But I'm sure that Ghana Gas, looking at a Train 2 and all of those other developments, we should be able to negotiate for the prices of gas down for the Ghanaian population, because clearly it's a product that you have, is a product that you use to flare, and is a product that you should be able to make available to the market a bit cheaper than it currently is. Pius.
Thank you very much, Duncan Amoah, Executive Secretary of COPEC. I truly appreciate your time. Still watching Business Live. We are back with the Joy Business Van. Hello, welcome back to Business Live. Let's now take the Joy Business Van. Imagine seeing a doctor without stepping out of your home. That's the future Nkomo is building. The forward-thinking health startup is changing how Ghanaians access care quickly, easily, and online. We feature Nkomo on today's Joy Business Van.
Accessing quality health care is essential to the health and well-being of all individuals. It must be timely too. Ghana continues to expand access to healthcare coverage, but a lot more can be done. Nkomo Healthcare, founded by Alexander Okereke, wants to be part of the solution. Nkomo was founded in 2020 at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, when healthcare systems were really being tested. It also gave rise to telehealth technology and other means to improve access to healthcare.
We're looking at having a system where people can access healthcare at the comfort of their homes. So we're looking at convenience, accessibility, and affordability. People just sitting at home, relaxing. If they want a medication, then they get it. If they want a particular lab test, either they walk to the particular hospital or they request for a lab service at home. So the lab technician comes to your home, then gives you that service.
Ephraim Akwete-Mensah is Country Operations Manager for Nkomo Ghana Limited. He explains the platform was not only created to meet users' health needs, but also give providers of healthcare services visibility.
A lot of people are building product solutions. Innovations are coming up. A lot of stuff going out there. But we realized that, okay, people are building products, but they're not getting the visibility they want. They're not getting the users they want. They're not getting the requirement, the targets they want in terms of revenue generation, user acquisition, even user growth. That's a problem in that space. So we came with the idea that, okay, we want to make these people visible to the general public.
From arranging a consultation with experienced doctors, getting a lab test, acquiring medicine, and buying insurance, Nkomo aims to give a cycle of care by just a click online, all integrated on a single platform.
This is a system where we've integrated all of them. So it's like end to end. You are speaking to a doctor from consultations through to delivery. So you speak to a doctor assess your problem, then it takes you to the next stage where you're able to access a particular service, that's a prescription. So it's either the doctor does that on your behalf or you go ahead, pair the prescription from the doctor. So we are looking at providing that comprehensive healthcare you need in that regard.
This is still a fairly new concept here in Ghana. Ephraim and his team have been working on bringing more users on board through community engagements and social media campaigns.
Our target is 1,000 plus by the end of Q3, 1,000 plus users, and having a conversion rate of 90%. So it means that we are looking at converting these 1,000 plus users into buying customers or clients that are always using our products.
Nkomo is targeting every smartphone user.
In the platforms or the apps we use in our everyday life are quite complicated, but we still use them. But Nkomo is so simple that even if you're able to access these sophisticated apps and all those technologies, that means that you can also access healthcare at the comfort of your home. Yeah. So we're also looking at affordability as well, because as you're also offering services, you're also looking at affordability. People should be able to afford those services on your platform, because you're not looking at only the elites, you're also looking at the undeserved areas as well. How can you also help them to also come on board? And threats. So this is more of like internal stuff that we did. So that's where we also ask questions with regards to where your strength is and where your weakness is. So if, for instance,
Nkomo is self-funded. The startup is seeking investments to scale up operations. In the near term, Nkomo is looking to increase its client base and build more partnerships.
We're looking at a target of 1,000 users on our platform, 1,000 plus even, yes. We have that leverage, we have that opportunity to leverage upon all these strategies we put in place to get people on board, to strike a deal with, have partnerships with them, and offer their services on their behalf.
Nkomo wants to become the leading healthcare service platform on the African continent, reshaping the healthcare landscape.
Thank you so much for watching Business Life. I am Pius Kojo Baka. We have more stories for you when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. A quick read from that portal. Fuel prices to go down marginally at the pumps from April 16. And we brought you that story here on Business Life. Airbnb must be regulated to ensure fair competition. That's according to the Ghana Hotels Association. They are demanding that. We have more stories when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. See you at 8 p.m. with Prime Business.